there's a lack of substance issue with Gavin Newsom. And it at least it seems to me from all the clips I've seen, the major problem that he has is that like it's like he's a very nicely wrapped present, but there is nothing inside.
And a bad track record.
Yeah, it's a bad track record, and then he's really got there doesn't seem to be any real argument that he's there to make. And so that's an issue too. But anyway, this is all fascinating to me. And of course, the conversation that is dominant in the Democratic Party right now, which is the kind of like, what do we do from here talk. I also just find it very interesting how they have such an inability to grapple with what actually just happened and why it just happened. And it's interesting to see them spin their wheels. So anyway, let's go to this clip from the Gavin Newsom podcast. I believe it's called Meet Gavin Newsom. Am I right about that? Anyway, right. Let's go check out that clip.
Have they figured it out that the identity piece of this is more important than the actual substance behind it?
Well, they've been doing it for decades. I mean, we've saw the welfare queens. They've seen the Southern strategy. We've seen it over and over. It's an old playbook, and we're as dumb as we want to be that we allow them to do this with CRT and ESG and DEI and every three-letter word.
And then they demonize people.
Yeah, demonize, and they weaponize grievance. They other people. They talk down to people, past people. They humiliate people. They weaponize difficult issues. But the bottom line is, and I think it goes back to what we began with, is, and I applaud you for this, is we cannot continue to be on the defense reacting to this. We've got to go on the offense. We got to meet people where they are. But I also think this, and this is where,
So just pause it already. Pause it already here. Isn't it like, is it, you get what I'm saying when I say it's like a beautifully wrapped present, but there's no gift inside? It's just already like, what is this? This is empty sloganeering. Like there's no actual comment being made here. We can't play defense. We got to play offense, and we got to meet people where they're at. What does any of that mean? Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm the dumb one here. Speak slower so I can understand. What does any of that mean? What are you saying? Oh, it's identity that matters, and they weaponize it, and they humiliate people, and they've like. Again, this is like, it sounds like a James Lindsay defining the woke right, and then you give a definition that applies to everybody. You know, well, they're awakening to an injustice and they want to put themselves in a position of power. Like, yeah, that's politics. Isn't it wild? I mean, by the way, you know, you have two of this conversation is happening between two of the most aggressive lockdown governors, and the two of the governors who were the biggest champions of Black Lives Matter. And you're talking about how they use identity and they demonize others and attempt to humiliate them. They use important issues to demonize others. Okay, yeah, like. I have some mild memories of being unvaccinated in 2021 and 22, and I felt like the finger was pointed at us a little bit. But anyway, it's just this is the point I'm making. It's like one of the things. It's like the podcast world didn't just blow up because it was on the internet instead of being on the TV. I mean, that is part of it about, you know, like people are on their phones and their computers more and they're on televisions less. But it was also that there was just substantive conversations being had. And, you know, people can, you can mock the bro podcast vibe or whatever. And there's like, part of that's fair. You know, it is, there's no question. It's kind of like, there's a bro energy to a lot of the popular podcasts, but there's also just like organic, substantive conversations that are happening. And this is just, it's too weird and nothing, like you got to say something. I don't know. Any thoughts on this, Rob, or you want to jump back in?
I agree with you that in the first half of this, he absolutely says nothing of substance, but the second half I thought was interesting.
Yes. All right, let's keep playing.
Conversation I'm trying to have is you got to respect people you disagree with, even and you can't just dismiss people. This
How do you
notion
fight it?
this
I
notion
think
of
I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can run them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
Let's pause it one more thing. By the way, here, pause it one more time because I do just want to make this point. There is, and I find this to be fascinating, particularly after the years of pushing the gender stuff. But there's a realization amongst Democrats that they are too beta, and that they need. I mean, literally, I think I want to say, who was it? It was Van Jones, I believe. I heard on CNN the other day explicitly say we need alphas on our side. Like there's just even the Democrats eventually recognized that, oh yeah, Donald Trump is out alphaing us. That's a big component to what's going on here, which I don't know how that wasn't obvious to everybody. It literally was like I had a huge chunk on it in my my first comedy hour special, Libertas, about how Donald Trump just out alphaed everybody. Like that was so obvious right away. But anyway, they've finally realized this. It's very strange coming from, like after they've pushed all the stuff they've pushed over the last 10, 15 years. But just a little piece of advice, maybe. You don't project like alpha male energy or like dominant male energy by saying, I am now going to project dominant male energy. Like you have to just do it. You can't sit there and say it's too like, I think I could kick their ass. Like now this just comes off as like you're a try hard or something like that. It's like, no, that's not actually it.
You could win a dance off.
Yeah, quite possibly.
And honestly, don't feel that comfortable with this toxic masculinity being exuded by him. It really, the fact that he'll threaten physical violence to try and solve political problems. I mean, what happens giving to tampons to boys? I thought that's what we were about.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just going to be very difficult for Democrats to transition, no pun intended, from all of the stuff they've been talking about to this now. Like we're going to be alpha men or something. I don't know. I just find this very, but it is interesting to me that they've at least recognized that. They realize like, oh, there's a problem here that we don't. It's not, and a part of it is just looking at the numbers. I mean, they are just hemorrhaging men, and it's a lot more than the fact that it was Kamala Harris, that it was a woman running for president this year. It was true, according to the polls, under Joe Biden as well. And I think it would have been true if Joe Biden had run or just about any Democrat had run. It's like men across all age groups, across all ethnicities and races, and like men have just walked away from Democrats. And it's for such obvious reasons. I mean, it's not an environment where any man is going to feel comfortable, or at least any like traditionally masculine man is just not going to feel comfortable there. It's everything is about feelings and, about kind of, I don't know, like safety over adventurism. Like everything is there's just something like, even in the policies that I just like adamantly disagree with Donald Trump about, there's always something masculine to them. There's always something, we're going to take Greenland or whatever, it's like there's something there. And they've openly been talking about toxic masculinity for years and lecturing young boys. And, it's been a disaster for them. So they recognize that to some degree, like we got to win these men back over. But then just sitting here again, I know I've used this example before, but it's just like, when I hear Tim Walz talking about how he could kick anyone's ass, it just, to me, it's like that scene in The 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's describing what a boob feels like. Like, it's just like, I know you're saying the thing that you think is the thing to say now, but you clearly have no experience in this department at all. All right, let's keep playing.
Actually, I think it's one of the reasons we're losing so many men. And again, it's multi-ethnic. It's not just white men. we're losing them. We're losing them to these guys online. We're losing them people that I'm bringing on this podcast as well. That's why I brought.
These are bad guys, though. These are bad guys.
But they exist, and we could deny they exist. They exist. Not only they exist, they persist, and they're actually influencing young kids every single day.
How do we push some of those guys back under a rock?
I think we have to first understand what their motivations are. I think we have to understand what they're actually doing. And
you don't
I think that's
racism and misogyny?
I think there's a lot of that, but I don't think it's exclusively that. When you talk to a guy like Steve Bannon,
right here.
Talks about work.
This is the part that was like actually most interesting to me. Is that because it just shows you it's such a it's the mentality of the old order, you know, and this is what Tim Walz's idea. But how do we push them back under a rock? How do we take them out? And this is the mentality that the Democrats have, you know, and this is the mentality that the government has had for a very long time. It's like, that's it. Okay, they're a problem. So how do we eliminate them? What's the plan here? Censorship? So you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? That's the goal. They're bad people. How do we get rid of them? And it's like what Gavin Newsom is a few steps ahead of Walz on this is that he's like, at least he's recognizing like, oh yeah, no, the answer is we can't. The answer is we can't push them back under a rock. We do not have that ability to do that. It's just it's not even an ideological question. It's a reality-based question. And just, can you do that or can you not? It'd be like, you know, yeah, whatever. It's just there's just, you're not in a position to do that. And then, you know, Gavin Newsom is kind of suggesting like, well, you have to kind of, it's like coming to the most obvious conclusion so many years too late. But he's like, I think maybe you'd have to address their arguments. I think maybe you'd have to deal with their grievances and maybe have a response to some of the points that they make. And Tim Walz is like, but they're racists and sexists. Like, it's like, wait, they're racist and sexist. They go under the rock. So, I mean, that did work for a remarkably long period of time. I don't think it's working anymore.